Karthik?
So, sir, we are on live now. We can start the proceedings.
Press OK. No?
Thank you, sir. Respected Chairman, Managing Director, Directors and Shareholders, good morning to all. I welcome you all for the 86th Annual General Body Meeting of Rajapalayam Limited, which is being conducted through video conferencing as per the circulars issued by Ministry of Corporate Affairs and SEBI. The company has provided live webcast for the proceedings of the meeting through CDSL platform. I request the respected chairman to preside over the meeting and introduce the directors and other attendees joined through VC.
So, good morning, and it's my pleasure to welcome you all to the 86th Annual General Body Meeting of Rajapalayam Mills. At the outset, I'd like to introduce to you all the directors and attendees here. I'm introducing Srimati P.V. Nirmala Raju, who has a bachelor's degrees in computer science from Anna University and Masters of Arts in Applied and Educational Leadership from and Management from the University of London. She has been on the board of Rajapalayam Mills since April 2019, and she has been appointed as Managing Director of the company with effect from 1/6/2022. Justice Janathan Raja, Independent Director, is a graduate in law from the Madras Law College. He was Honorable Justice, the High Court of Madras from December 2005 to December 2013. And he has been on the board of Rajapalayam Mills Limited since 2013. Justice Shri Janathan Raja, Independent Director, is the Chairman of our Audit Committee and Nomination and Remuneration Committee. Shri S.S. Ramachandra Raja, a director, has a bachelor's degree in science, and he has been on the board of Rajapalayam Mills since 1992. Mr. N.K. Ramaswamy Raja, Independent Director, holds a degree in science, and he has been on the board of Rajapalayam Mills since 1980. I'd like to introduce A.V. Dharmakrishnan Raja, Chartered Accountant, and he started who's our CEO of Ramco Cements Limited. He's presently has been on the board of Rajapalayam Mills since 2008. I'd like to welcome Sri Shantana Raman, Independent Director. He holds a degree in Commerce and CAIIB. He has been on the board of Rajapalayam Mills since 2013. He's a former Executive Director on the Bank of Baroda from October 2006 to August 2009. I'd like to introduce Sri Nagendra Murthy, Independent Director, who holds a master's degree in Commerce and CAIB, and he has been on the board of Rajapalayam Mills since 2014. He is a former Managing Director and CEO in Tamil Nadu Mercantile Bank Limited from 2012 to 2014. I'd like to introduce Sri Abhinav Ramasubramanian Raja, who has a bachelor's degree in Industrial Science and Industrial Engineering from the Northwestern University, USA. He has been on the board of Rajapalayam Mills since 2017. I'd like to introduce Mr. Alagaraja, Independent Director, who holds a Diploma in Textile Technology, and he's been on the board of Rajapalayam Mills since 2017. I'd like to introduce Srimati Saundara Kumar, Independent Director, but who has expressed her inability to attend the meeting today. I'd also like to introduce Sri Mohan Rangan, our President, who's sitting to the right of me, our CEO, our CFO, Mr. Jnanaguru Swami, who's to my left, and Mr. Arun Pranavam, our Company Secretary, who's sitting next to Mr. Jnanaguru Swami. Also like to introduce Mr. Palaniyappan, partner, N.A. Jayaraman Company, our auditors, and Sri Rajeshwaran, partner, SRSV and Associates, Chartered Accountant, our statutory auditors, and Sri M.R.L. M. Narsimha, Secretarial Auditor, and Sri R. Palaniyappan is the scrutinizer for the e-voting process. I hereby confirm that the quorum for the meeting is complete. We need a minimum of 30 members, and they are present here, and the meeting shall be called to order.
Thank you, sir. Shareholders are hereby informed that the registers as required under Companies Act 2013 would be made available electronically for inspection by the members. Members seeking to inspect such registers can send their request to arulpranam_a@tramcotex.com. Notice convening the 86th Annual General Body Meeting along with Director's Report, Business Responsibility Report, Statutory Auditor's Report, Secretarial Auditor's Report, Financial Statements have already been circulated by email to the shareholders and hosted on the website of the company and the stock exchange. With the consent of the members, the notice may please be taken as read. Statutory Auditor's Report as well as Secretarial Auditor's Report being an unqualified and unmodified one and have already been circulated along with the annual report. With the consent of the members, the audit reports may please be taken as read. The e-voting process has been explained in the notice convening the AGM. For those persons who had acquired shares subsequent to the dispatch of the annual report, the notice for the AGM containing the instructions for e-voting and participating in the meeting through video conferencing had been mailed to the shareholders individually. The facility for remote e-voting remained open from 9 a.m. on Wednesday, the 17th August 2022 to 5 p.m. on Friday, the 19th August 2022 to enable the shareholders to vote through remote e-voting. The remote e-voting was closed at 5 p.m. on 19th August 2022. In addition to the remote e-voting, arrangements have been made for e-voting during this AGM, and members attending the meeting through VC and who have not already cast their vote by remote e-voting may exercise their voting right during the meeting. Members are informed that those who had already cast their vote by remote e-voting may attend this meeting but shall not be entitled to cast their vote again. Now I request the respected chairman to deliver his speech on annual accounts and performance of the company.
Good morning. It's my pleasure to give you a report on our annual performance and our future outlook. Sales and profitability for 2021-22. During the financial year 21-22, the production volume of yarn had increased to 136 lakh kilograms as against 111 lakh kilograms in the last year, registering a growth of 23% due to the full utilization of machineries made during the financial year 21-22. The sales volume for the financial year 21-22 stood at 134 lakh kgs as against 122 lakh kgs in the previous year, registering a growth of 10%. The sale value of yarn has increased to 550 crores during the financial year 21-22 as compared to rupees 363 crores of last year, registering a growth of 52%. The sale value of fabric had increased 122 crores during the financial year 21-22 as compared to 39 crores the previous year. The yarn market in India has bounced back after witnessing a slowdown in the last 2 years. The company's focus on new product development and value-added production have started yielding results. The EBITDA increased to 142 crores as against 43 crores in the previous year, registering a substantially good growth of 226%. The interest cost had decreased to rupees 42.96 crores as against 44.48 crores in the previous year, in spite of additional borrowings for our modernization and expansion projects due to reduced cost of borrowing. The net profit for the financial year 21-22 was 76.66 crores against a loss of 38.32 crores in the previous year, and a profit after tax was 38.28 crores against a loss of 26.63 crores in the previous year. I am glad to inform the shareholders that the company had achieved historic sales and profitability during the financial year 21-22. The company has windmills which was installed, with an installed capacity of 35.15 megawatts for its captive power consumption. For the financial year 21-22, the wind farm had generated 589 lakh units worth 39.27 crores as compared to 564 lakh units worth 37.59 crores in the previous year. that was an increase of 4.43%. Dividend. The company's dividend distribution policy provides for paying at least 5% of its post-tax profits as dividend to the shareholders. However, considering the company's expansion and modernization plans and investment in capital expenditure programs, our directors have the pleasure of recommending a dividend of rupees 1 per share on the equity capital of the company. The previous year was 0.5 rupees per share. The cash outflow for the dividend payout is around 86.06 lakhs, constituting a dividend payout ratio of 2%. Outlook for the current financial year. The prices of all varieties of cotton have been very volatile and at a very high level. In addition to cotton, all other commodity prices are also going up, including fuel, metal, etc., which will have an inflationary effect on the cost of production of yarn. The textile industry is also witnessing a sluggish Q2 in 22-23 due to price disparity and economic slowdown in international markets. The company is adapting itself to a better position by strengthening its product line with more value-added customized yarns like mercerized yarn, melange yarn, core yarn, etc. Because of which we hope that we'll continue to be able to have good orders to be able to continue to produce and sell decent volumes for good profitability. So as of now, we can see that till Q2 we have been able to manage. So the next month we will know how the Q3 and Q4 are evolved. But I think the good news is because of the varieties of products we make, we're having varieties of customers from all over the world. So there are good orders coming in, but we still have to see how the market develops for Q3 and Q4. In the fabric division, the quality of fabric produced by the company has been well accepted both in domestic and export markets. And the company has received quite a few inquiries from leading brands across the globe for supply of processed fabric. Since the demand for a quality fabric is very much encouraging, the company had decided to further expand its fabric division by adding another 166 looms, and also decided to establish a new fabric processing unit with a capacity of 50,000 meters per day at Rajapalayam. Also, to strengthen this electrical infrastructure, the company had decided to install a 132 kVA substation inside the premises of our mills in Rajapalayam. The total outlay for the fabric and the 110 kVA project is 375 crores, which will be funded from internal accruals, equity instruments, and term loan from banks. The Bhumi Puja for the above projects was performed on 23rd January 2022, and construction activities are under progress. Orders have been placed for major machineries, and all projects are expected to be commissioned for commercial production in the first quarter of the next financial year. I'd like to acknowledge, and I'm grateful to the various departments and agencies of the central and state government for their help and cooperation. I thank our investors for their unsustained faith in the company and our customers for their continued support. I extend my appreciation towards our business associates, banks, financial institutions for the strong relationships we had throughout the year. Lastly, I'd like to extend my appreciation to all our management team, employees, and my colleagues on the board who have helped us stand strong in the face of all challenges. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. With the permission of the chairman, I would like to open the session for question and answer. Members are hereby informed that the company had made necessary arrangements for the two-way communication in the meetings. Members desirous of expressing their views or ask questions during the meetings have been requested to register themselves as speakers by sending their request at least 3 days prior to the meeting. 2 shareholders have registered as speakers for today's meeting. Karthik sir.
Yes, sir.
I invite Mr. Samrat Mohan Singh to speak.
Samrat sir, you can speak now.
Yes, please proceed here.
Good morning.
Samrat sir, you can speak now.
Good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity. I have already submitted my questions in advance. Would you like me to repeat them for you, or
You submitted. You don't.
Sir, you have submitted the 24 questions, and we would like to answer key questions in this AGM, and we will send answers through email to you. So you can refer our answers through email. And now Chairman will answer some of the key questions asked by you. And on behalf of you, can I read your questions so that Chairman will be answering your questions? That is okay for you?
yes, sure, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Your question was the sale of Ramco Cement shares and making it as a margin money for the projects. You have asked whether this will be continued and what is the possibility in going forward in sale of shares.
So basically, we hold quite a substantial amount of Ramco Cement shares. And basically, given the opportunity that we had to invest in our fabric processing and modernization of our mills, we thought selling a very, very small percentage of the shares will be useful in kickstarting the project. And we had decided to sell about 90 crores worth of shares so far. And we have so far sold about 35 crores worth of shares. And as and when the requirement comes, we will complete that. After that, we are not intending to sell any more shares after that. And as the company evolves, we probably will buy back some shares also. So that is basically the answer to that. And
The next question is, we are aggressive in capex over a period of last 2-3 years compared to very conservative approach so far we have been in during the last historical period.
so I think the basic idea has been that for many years we were just a normal spinning mill, commodity spinning mill, doing high-end yarn for corporates. So we thought, given the ups and downs in the yarn industry, and we didn't want to be a commodity, just a commodity producer anymore. Given that this is one of our mother companies, we wanted to make it much more resilient to the markets. Therefore, we started investing over the last 3-4 years on various value-added products like mercerization, melanged, gas, high-strength yarns, and so on. And that has been very well received in the market. And we also had to modernize some of our older machineries, like open end spinning and so on, which had served us very well for many years. So given all these investments, and as you know, textile machineries are very expensive. So we went on a streamlined modernization program over 3-4 years. At the same time, we also wanted to forward integrate because many of our customers were these brands which were very, very happy with the quality. So we said, let us forward integrate so that we have much more closer connection with many of the brands. And so we went ahead and did a yarn dyed fabric unit, which was implemented 2 years ago. But there was a setback for about a year because of COVID. Otherwise, we would have been in a much better situation even today. But we have been able to recover, and as you know, our fabric unit is running full swing despite the downturn in the industry. And many of them have said that they would like a processed fabric also, because then it's one-stop shop. They can go from a high-end yarn to high-end fabric, full swing. So given that, we thought it would be important to invest and stabilize our company from ups and downs of being just a commodity producer. And that is why this aggressive investment. And we are lucky that we've been able to make most of the investment decisions and things before the inflationary pressures have hit. So the kind of investments we made will be much more if we had to decide to do anything now. So that is also a good fortune for us.
Thank you, sir.
Any question on that, sir?
No, thank you, sir. Very much appreciated. Is there a one-time opportunity you see because of China plus one factor coming in where we decided to be more aggressive today versus any other part, any other time in our history?
No, that gives us more comfort because there's more inquiries coming from larger brands to come to corporates like us, where we have a full system of traceability and enough volume and so on, where they'd like to shift some of their productions from China. Those discussions are going on, but those changes are longer term because they take a year or year and a half to evaluate everything, set the processes and so on. So they are longer term initiatives which have been taking over the last year. So we hope some of those things will start fructifying in the coming quarters, maybe in 6 months or so. But that is not a one-time decision. It is more of a long-term trend, which also is fortunate for us in a sense, yeah. And also in Europe also, the ability of China to sell there has come down quite a bit because of various reasons. So a lot of European brands also starting to talk to us because we have these unique high-end yarn and fabrics, which they were always procuring from China. It was our only competition actually in Europe to our company. Now many of them are starting to move to us. But the only worry now is because of the Russia-Ukraine war. We don't know how the economy in Europe is going to shape up. But the good news is I don't think the orders to our company will come down because their buying from China will come down. So some of that may shift. So even though the market may shrink, my hope is that orders to our company may not shrink so much. So that is the basic theory with which we are working. And as of now, till this quarter, we are okay. Quarter 3, quarter 4, we'll have to see how the market picks up.
That's very helpful.
I will explain for you some of data-based questions regarding fabric capacity. Right now we have 154 looms and we are adding another 166 looms, taking the total capacity into 320 looms. And the capacity utilization at present is around 94% in our fabric division. And we consume approximately 30% of yarn in our fabric division. And the sales and the profitability of fabric division is 122 crores of sales in FY 21-22 and EBITDA is 16 crores. And you have asked about the sales to UK, Australia and US. Basically, the export of textile commodities from India is only about USD 2 million to these countries. And regarding US export, from Rajapalayam mills, we don't export any material to US, but some of our group companies are exporting to US. With the fabric processing coming into stream during Q1 of next financial year, yes, definitely we'll be approaching leading brands at US also for supplying the processed finished fabric. And you asked about the domestic spinning capacity in India. It is approximately 50 million spindles we have in India, which has grown from 49 million in 2012. And you have asked
5 million.
Sir?
Not 50 million.
50 million.
For the whole country.
Country as a whole. And you have asked about whether we have any plan for having an integrated textile park like Government of India has announced such scheme. We don't have any such plan of going for an integrated textile parks since we have sufficient land parcel in Rajapalayam and we are expanding adjacent to our existing campus.
I think in spirit, I think most of your questions have been answered. Is there anything specific you would like to know?
So just one follow-up, which is a lot of the other large conglomerates in our country, whether it's the Tata Group or the CK Birla Group, etc., have created a lot of value for shareholders by disentangling cross-holdings and moving the equity cross-holdings up into the unlisted parent. So I think you mentioned that we don't plan on doing that. In fact, we will repurchase shares of Ramco Cements. So essentially that sort of gives Rajapalayam Mills a holding company discount and, artificially reduces our return on equity. So I'm just wondering if there, why is it that we have not thought of moving our, associate company listed entity holdings up into the, the unlisted parent and monetizing that within Rajapalayam to reinvest in the business?
So given the current guidelines in SEBI and company law and all those things, it's very difficult to move assets from listed to unlisted companies. If at all we have to do is, there are various procedures. We are studying the various legal positions and so on. And we have not yet made up a decision on that, whether to do it or not. But we are definitely continue to seriously look at that. Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
I invite Mr. Ayush Mittal to speak. Mr. Ayush Mittal.
Hi, Ishar, you can unmute and speak.
I hope I'm audible.
Yes, yes.
Good morning, Board of Directors and fellow shareholders. Thank you so much for the opportunity for letting me ask my questions to the management. Sir, my first few questions are on our spindle capacity and what are our utilizations currently. Also, if you want me to go with my questions all together, then let me know. Otherwise, we can do a one-on-one. I only have 4 or 5 questions.
We'll do one at a time, sir. Yeah.
All right, perfect. So what is our spindle capacity currently and what is our utilization in FY22?
We have a spindle capacity of 150,000 spindles and our utilization levels are at 97%.
All right. So on the spindle unit, I mean, I have compared our company to a lot of other listed companies, and I'm very pleased to see that our per kg realization is actually one of the highest, if not the highest in the industry, at least in the listed space. Yet I don't understand that, why do we not make that kind of margins which other players like, I mean, I don't want to name them, but there are many other players who are making north of 25% EBITDA on their yarn operations. So is there a reason that, that we're not going for that margins or despite such high realization, or can you help us understand where the difference would be? Because we have captive power consumption as well. We have that old reputation, and I mean, so just trying to understand where the difference lies.
Okay, first of all, we have to understand the economics of yarn spinning. First part is yarn is not a single commodity. For example, if you take Rajapalayam mill, we are manufacturing ring spinning, we are manufacturing OE spinning, we are having value-added counts like TFO, Mercedes yarn, Milan yarn, etc. Per kg or per ton may not reveal a correct picture. For example, if you take Rajapalayam mill, the margins will be much higher in ring spinning, whereas it will be not that much in open-end spinning. However, we are having open-end spinning in a big way because we are recycling our own waste and convert it into a usable yarn for a different segment. So EBITDA margin percentage or per kg will not be a benchmarking for yarn industry. We have to go by individual count-wise analysis, or we can absolute EBITDA numbers or EBITDA per spindle. Benchmark like that will be helpful to understand in a better way. But as you rightly said, if you analyze our spinning operation alone, segregating from open end and other value-added product, yes, we are also in the EBITDA range of 26 to 27%.
All right, understood.
Per kg then.
Percentage and 10%.
So where is it putting us down?
OE.
It will
be low margin item, but still there.
All right. Sir, after this 166 looms addition, how much yarn do we plan to consume internally, and what would roughly be our yarn sales outside of the company?
For 25%.
Presently, we are consuming around 30% of fabric production, fabric requirement from Rajapalayam mills.
Okay.
From Rajapalayam spinning division's perspective, it will be around 30 to 35% will be consumed captively after 166 looms expansion. But again, it depends on the type of fabric we are getting and what kind of designs, sorts, and all. So we are not only having Rajapalayam mills, we have other group companies also. So if our capacities are fully booked and if we receive some kind of yarn requirement from fabric division, first we will try to get from market or from our group companies in Rajapalayam to avoid freight cost and all.
Understood. So what you're saying is right now we are at 30-35%, but at the group level, even after the expansion, we'll still be at 30-35%.
No. After the expansion will be 30-35%.
Okay. I may have messed up.
And the important thing to understand is some varieties of yarn
Mhm.
that Rajapalayam Mills alone may not make. It may be made by our group companies, our sister companies. So
Understood.
depending on the kind of fabric we'll be buying from among the group. Yeah.
Understood. And sir, as you rightly mentioned that, yarn from outside, at least from what we see, is more of a commodity business, and it a lot depends on how the cotton yarn spread is, right? So given that now we have built that fabric business and we have gotten a good response, we are expanding aggressively here. What do you see the sustainable margins, at least in the fabric divisions, going ahead?
Fabric division, we have a very good facility, a kind of facility. We have been rated among the top 5 fabric manufacturers in the world. So our existing yarn customers as well as existing fabric customers are pushing us to supply a finished fabric so that their logistic problems, their sourcing problems can be avoided, and we will be a single point source of contact. So we are now approaching big brands, and the initial inquiries, supplying sample stage is all very much encouraging, and we will see good potential for our kind of fabric manufacturing in the world market.
That's great to know, sir. Lastly, on the industry, if you can just throw some light on where are we currently, in the textile cycle, because we have seen yarn prices falling while cotton prices are still holding up. How is the export demand shaping up, and what kind of order visibility, or what kind of communication do you have from your customers in the domestic market and in exports?
Okay, if you take export, country as a whole, there was a degrowth of 70%, but there was no degrowth, and we are growing in the export market, mainly for the reason that all the customers are standard customers, and they are giving continuous orders because of our quality and specific products we are manufacturing. We are not manufacturing any commodity count and selling it in the market. We are getting orders with the specifications, and all our productions are make to orders only. So there is no big drop in the inquiries or sale volume to export market for Rajapalayam Mills per se. But of course, it is there is some pressure on the price as well as pressure on the margins that we are managing with correct timely purchase of cotton, setting some parameters to save on energy, investment on automation. So we are doing our best to protect the margins also. But as far as orders or volumes are concerned, we are on the very good track so far.
But,
Understood. Sorry?
That is the point we were trying to make. From being just a commodity yarn producer, shifting to value-added producers, being varieties of yarns and services, has helped us weather the downturn as of now, so far. And we said the outlook for the third quarter and fourth quarter, we will know in the next month or so.
Understood. And the last clarification, I think you had mentioned to the earlier shareholder that India has a capacity of around 50 million spindle, and that has gone up from only 49 in the last 7-8 years. Is that correct?
Correct. From 49 million in 2012, it has reached to 50 million.
In India.
In India.
In India, absolutely. Understood. And so just last one observation and suggestion, I would like to resonate the earlier shareholders' comments on the group structuring, and would like to suggest that the board actually thinks about it and how you can create more value for the shareholders, keeping in mind what the board decides. So just one suggestion from my end. And thank you for your answer, sir, in such a patient manner.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, shareholders, for your participation. The following business has been proposed for members' consideration and approval through e-voting. Ordinary business, ordinary resolution, adoption of company's separate and consolidated audited financial statements and reports of the Board of Directors and Auditors for the year ended 31st March 2022. Declaration of dividend of ₹1 per share for the year 21-22. Reappointment of Sri A.V. Dharmakrishnan, DIN 00693-181 as a director who retires by rotation. Next, ordinary business special resolution. Reappointment of Sri S.S. Ramaswamy, 001491 as a director who retires by rotation and to continue the directorship of Sri S.S. Ramachandra Raja as non-executive director. Next business, ordinary resolution. Reappointment of Messrs. N.A. Jayaraman and Company Chartered Accountants and Messrs. SRSV and Associates Chartered Accountants as statutory auditors for a second term of 5 years. Next one, special business special resolution. Appointment of Srimati P.V. Nirmala Raju, DIN 00474960 as managing director for a period of 5 years with effect from 1st June 2022. The last resolution is special business ordinary resolution. Ratification of remuneration of ₹1,75,000 to Sri M. Kannan, cost auditor of the company for the year 2022-23. E-voting system will remain open till 15 minutes after the conclusion of the meeting for the shareholders who have not already cast their vote by remote e-voting. Shri R. Palaniyappan, partner, Messrs. N.A. Jayaraman and Company Chartered Accountants is the scrutinizer to scrutinize the voting taken through electronic means. The results of the remote e-voting, venue e-voting would be announced to stock exchange and displayed on the website of the company within 2 working days. Now, I thank Chairman, Managing Director, Directors, members and other attendees for participating in this meeting. I also thank Mr. Karthik of CDSL and his team for organizing this meeting through WebEx platform. Now I request the chairman to conclude the meeting.
So thank you. I'd like to thank all the shareholders and the directors and the management team who are present here. Mr. Mohan Rangana, President, Mr. Jnanagurusamy, Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Anul Pranavam, and everybody for taking part in this annual general body meeting, and also the shareholders who spoke in the meeting and made the meeting more interesting by asking very interesting questions. And also I'd like to thank CDSL, Mr. Karthik and company for conducting this meeting very smoothly. If there's no other questions, I'd like to end this meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
With the permission of the chairperson, we are concluding this meeting. Thank you all for joining, sir.
Thank you, sir.